Are you somebody who is looking to awaken your spirituality and really connect with your soul? Well, today for ToK Talks, I'm going to be speaking to cohort 2 student. I should have checked pronunciation of surname, Paz Sonagara. You'll have to correct me, Paz, who's going to be chatting it up with me today live. We're going to be talking all things spirituality and why he decided to join cohort 2 of the ToK Like a Boss bootcamp. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce the lovely Paz now. Welcome to the stage.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Janine, for having me here.
Thank you so much for being here. It is lovely to have you, Paz. And we were having a bit of a chat in behind the scenes about the fact that this is the first time you and I have actually had a one-to-one conversation. It's still virtual, all right? It's still online, but this is the first time you and I have had a chance to chat. So I'm really looking forward to this discussion. How are you feeling, Paz? Did I pronounce your surname correctly?
Sonagara. But yeah, it's good. No,
Good.
Paz Sonagara.
Thank you. How
Feeling
are you feeling?
absolutely on top of the world now that I've done your course.
Yay! I love that. I love that. So we're just going to have a little bit of a chat about the course. You're going to share a bit about yourself because I have to say, before I get on to the questions, Paz, even though on the bootcamp you weren't able to come to the actual group sessions, you were very diligent in making sure that
Yeah.
you did all the tasks, all the practical. You went in, you did the assignments, you let us know, gave feedback that you had done week 1, module 1, module 2, and you really got stuck in with it. You didn't let anything hold you back. And I want to commend you for that, because I think what happens is over the years of teaching, you see there are people that are enthusiastic, but it's that whole thing of wanting, there's this kind of mindset around having it all done for you and not realizing that you actually have to do the work to get the results. I had no complaining from you, right? We did have some exchange of emails at the beginning when we were trying to iron out the edge, like the kinks, right? But
Yeah.
once we did, you just hit the ground running. I want to really commend you for that, Paz. Thank you. You did really well, really well.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I feel like I was hungry. You know, when somebody is hungry and they just
Oh,
want to consume. And that's how I felt. Like when I came
yeah.
on this course,
Mm,
I was there, ready,
yeah.
focused, and I just want to exactly what you just said, hit the
Yeah.
ground running.
Yeah, and you made a decision. I really love that about you. Now, before we go any further, I do want to give the baton to you, and I want you to tell us who you are and what it is that you do. I had to remind Perpetina, anyone to say about the power intro. I know I don't have to remind you, but Paz, please do share with us who you are and what it is that you do. Thank you so much.
Thank you. My name is Paz Sonagara, and I am a spiritual teacher, and I love to help people to live their highest spiritual life. That is what my passion is. That's what I love to do. And one of the ways that I do this is through energy healing. And this was the reason why I wanted to actually learn about TikTok Live and see how I can use that as a way to move me forward in the work that I did that I was so passionate about, to put that out into the world. And so I chose that, TikTok
Yeah.
Live platform. And yeah, it was absolutely amazing.
Yes. And I love that you have been sharing your passion, not only your passion, but you have a real heart for people. And that comes across in everything that you do. And especially when you're doing your lives and you're doing your energy healing. I don't want to say tutorials. What would you call them? Sessions, you actually do. So there's a lot of love that goes into what it is that you do. Now, one of the things that we discussed quite a bit when you first started was just some of the terminology, because I said, it's great for those who really understand what it is that you do. But what about those who are new to you, who are coming across you for the first time? I did tell you, Paz, we go a bit off piste on these lives. Just how are you going to make sure that you're managing the objections around people who may not understand what it is that you do? And I feel like you've worked really well to kind of simplify that, so to speak? How did you find that when, you know, we first were saying, okay, not sure that people may know what it is that you do? How did you find that?
You know, when I go live on TikTok, one of the things I've started to bring in is just something new that I've started to bring in is to bring these like little distinctions. I bring in these like spiritual distinctions or personal transformational distinctions. And one of them, and I've just remembered it as you've said that, is feedback is the breakfast of champions.
Oh,
And every single time when you gave me feedback, I really listened. I said, this is coming from an expert. This is coming from somebody who's doing this and heard this been doing it for over 10 years.
you pay attention,
And,
Paz. I love it.
and though I have been in my industry for 10 years and I kind of know my target audience, it was still good to hear from somebody else who may not necessarily been in my target audience and to see how they received it. And I still feel like that's still a work in progress for me. So I have a target audience that I can say certain keywords and
Yes.
instantaneously they'll understand it. If you talk about energy healing, they'll get it. If you talk about spiritual awakening, they will understand it. There'll be another audience. This is where you kind of expanded my mind, was
Yes.
there's a whole another audience who may be just coming into spirituality. How about them? What can you say to them? So I feel like I'm still in a work in progress. I'm still going to find my way, but it was really absolutely, amazing for me to hear that feedback. That is why it doesn't matter what kind of feedback anybody has for me. I love taking it on board.
Yes, wonderful. And you did take it on board very, very well. And you actually taught me something about taking feedback on board as well. So thank you very much for that, Paz. Right, we're going to go into a little bit about the ToK Like a Boss bootcamp now. So the next question I want to ask you was, or not was, is what was your biggest takeaway that you got from your time on the ToK Like a Boss bootcamp?
That's a great question, Janine. I feel like when I was on this boot camp, I had a very clear intention before I actually came on to this boot camp. And that was, what do I need to know so that I could go live comfortably? Right?
Yes.
What, how could you support me? How could you coach me so that I could hit that live button? And I'm not really thinking about it too much. I'm just actually thinking about what is the content and the guided process and energy healing that I'm giving my audience. That's where I wanted my focus on. But when you're trying to do something new for the first time, you're a little bit confused. You're not sure what you should say, how you should say it. How do people react on that TikTok live platform?
Yes.
Is it different to Facebook live, or is it different to being on a Zoom call? Of course it is. And so having that knowledge and wisdom was really important. The key thing initially, and it obviously depends on where people are on the journey. I never had been live. And because I never had been live, the first step was hit that live button and be comfortable. And you actually led not only me, but everybody else in the kind of boot camp as well, step by step by step. And within a couple of weeks, we were like flying, all of us.
Yes.
We were flying.
You really were. And I love that. Perpetina also mentioned that as well, the whole step-by-step process. And I think it's really important that people have a success pathway, which is why I deliver the bootcamp in the way that I do, because I don't want to overwhelm. I want you to have all the tools that you need that's going to give you that you'll implement on the bootcamp, but will also take you forward. And I think that having that, managing it in the way that we did, it saw you all, like you said, first few weeks, you were flying, every single one of you. There's not anyone who didn't rise to the challenge, who didn't go live, who didn't implement some of the things and all of the things actually. So, and at the end of it, I'm so happy that you're going live. And I see the confidence, the fact that, as I said, I was doing my research, Paz, before I came on, darling. And it was the 15th, I think it was the 15th of February. I've lost the date already, where you said, I'm going live for the first time in a month. You're going live how many times a week now, Paz?
And so this is the success from the bootcamp, right? I mean, there's a takeaway that I can share, but the success is, and the outcome of that is, I'm going live on Tuesday, 6 p.m. I'm going live on Thursday, 6 p.m. I'm going live on Sunday, 11 a.m. I've got my schedule. I've got my kind of process, and it's there in, week out. I am resilient
Love
in
it.
when I have got a goal in my mind. And so partly it's more spiritual, partly
Mhm.
it's personal development, but
Yes.
100% it's all Paz.
We love that. We love a bit of Paz. I'm absolutely loving this. Well, let's go on to, because I've got a few more questions for you, but I'm just loving the flow, Paz. Thank you so much. So I know you're flowing anyway through these questions, but how has the bootcamp impacted your approach to going live on TikTok? You pretty much answered it for me, but keeping it professional. How has it impacted your approach to going live on TikTok? And hopefully, this is just the start, right? TikTok, you're working on that, but it's going to impact other things. So yes, over to you, Paz. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. It's a great question as well, because want to actually take it back why I actually joined your
Mm-hmm.
program.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's a really important point to talk about because,
Mm-hmm.
and this is to share a little bit about my journey.
Yes,
In
please.
September 24, right? This is like we're going back to September 24. I was getting this guidance of, all right, Paz, it's time for you to now kick back, and do some of this spiritual work that you have been doing in the past, kind of stop doing, and to move that forward. Now, me and the universe having a bit of an issue with this. I'm like saying, you know what, I've done it before, it hasn't really worked out, and I put all this energy and effort in, and it feels like sometimes it moves forward and it goes backwards, and it moves
Mm-hmm.
forwards and it goes backwards. And the reason for that was because I never had a social media strategy. I never had a social media platform that I said, this is what I'm committing to, this is what I'm focused on, and I'm going to move it forward. And so this is why I was going back and forward with the universe. He would
Right.
say, right, you're moving and doing the spiritual work. I said, no, I don't want to do it. I've done it before, right? And it hasn't worked out. And then I
Mm-hmm.
got another spiritual download and said, okay, this is how you're going to be doing it. And it was about going live. And so that was very interesting. I could have been TikTok live, could have been Instagram live, but I think I was using TikTok. So at that moment, I started to search for TikTok coaches,
Oh, nice.
right? I started looking for TikTok coaches because I'm a kind of person who invests in myself. If I want to do
Yes,
something, if I want to learn something, I don't want to take a whole year to figure it out. I want to do
absolutely.
it within a few weeks, and I want to know what to do step by step. Here we go. Let's move and let's rock and roll.
Yes.
And I do that with all areas of my life. And so you started coming up on my TikTok, right?
Oh,
Like,
nice.
okay, who's
I
this
love that.
person? Janine is talking about these TikTok lives. And then it started to click to me, okay? Started following you, started being interested, I never watch anybody's TikTok lives. You were the first person that I started looking at and started interacting with. And actually, you were the first person that I subscribed to because I wanted to see what is this subscribing all about. And so that was why I kind of said, you know what? Janine is a person who's going to help me and is going to fast track my learning. And that's why I wanted to kind of, do the boot camp.
Yes.
So I kind of saw what you were doing. I kind of interacted with you. I subscribed to you. I brought one of these little
The little
PDF
guide.
files.
I
And then
saw
I
it.
said, I want
Yeah.
to do this. I want to do
I
this
just want
boot camp.
access. I want it. I
This
want
is
it
what I want
all.
to do. Yeah. And so from that, what I got, and this is, I think you share this almost every single time that you go live.
Yeah.
And I hope that people really get this, because as much as you need to know what to do and how to do it and have the confidence to do it, but what people may not really understand is the mindset and the energy and the resilience and the perseverance that you need to have when things are not going your way, right? So why am I able to stay consistent 3 times a week, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, is because you help me develop this mindset, this kind of energy. It's set in my mind. Whether 0 people join, whether 5 people join, whether 10 people join, it doesn't matter what happens. You stay the course. And I truly believe for most people, that is the journey that they will go through. It won't be like you have 50 people joining your life. It will be a little bit of a slow burn. Some people, they might go and have 50 people in their life, But for me, it's going to be a steady, step by step kind of journey. And so you've got to have that perseverance. And I think that's what I
Absolutely.
took away from this boot camp, hearing you over and over
Yeah,
again.
on the
Even
mindset,
I heard you on your live yesterday. You said
yeah,
the same thing.
always. I have to. And that's something that I know that you've paid attention to over the boot camp is that, well, I'm glad that you've got the mindset, because that's, you do have to have the resilience, because in the beginning, the views aren't coming. It's the same for all of us. There's no one gets away from that. But the resilience and the understanding that you have to start somewhere, and it's about the showing up consistently and also bringing your energy. I don't think I've ever seen your energy dip in any of your lives that I've actually been a part of. And so it's only a matter of time before you get to the results that you want to get to if you do not give up. And I say this to all of you. So I'm just really excited for you, because I can feel the energy from you, Paz, and I absolutely love this. I absolutely love it. So I do have a few more questions for you, if that's okay, if we can continue.
Absolutely.
So the next question I have for you is, can you share a memorable moment or success story since joining the boot camp?
That's a great question. And I did have an amazing success, because as much as I just said, there's a bit of a slow burn, and it does take some time for it, your audience to build up and followers to, kind of follow you. One of the greatest success I had was I was doing a TikTok live on a Sunday, again, having that slow burn. And I started to have this traction with a couple of people on my TikTok live, started interacting with me, started sharing about what they wanted from their energy healing, what kind of things they were working on from their past trauma. And they started sharing that with me. You know what? That is so beautiful and important for me, because then I can tailor make the process for them. And I'm not going to share the name, but it was their
No.
mom who had passed away, and they were going through a bit of grief and low confidence.
Mm-hmm.
They stayed on my live for 47 minutes.
Wow.
And that was so beautiful that I was able to facilitate a process for them, because their energy shifted from a very high intense 10 to a much better 5, and they felt lighter, they felt
Nice.
freer, they felt like they had healed. And that was what I needed to hear, because when I'm on Zoom and I'm conducting energy healing there, I get instantaneous feedback because I'm talking to people. On TikTok live, you have them for 1 minute, they could be gone the other minute. And so to really build people coming to you and interacting with you, that was a great success and a great feeling for me.
I absolutely love that. And Paz, I'm just going to give you a coaching moment. I hope there was a follow-up or follow-through. That's what I'm going to say. I'm not going to say anymore. I hope there's a follow-up, follow-through.
It was.
High five and fist bump to you. That is excellent. Well done. And I don't want to scooch past that, because that is something that is extremely powerful. As you have said, the fact that somebody is in real time, and that's the wonderful thing about live stream. When you see people having transformation in real time, they're co-signing in real time. Like you said, this individual stayed with you, and then obviously you've had the follow-up. Again, that's what it's all about. And that's what live streams are going to be able to do for you. And especially around what you're doing, energy healing. I think the fact that you're demonstrating your authority and expertise, but people are actually getting a result in real time. So if you can keep capitalizing on that, then you're absolutely 100% going to be able to convert your specific audience, your specific people. And I'm looking forward to seeing you do that. May it long continue, Paz. That's amazing. All right, are we all right for the next question?
Yeah, go.
Awesome, of course. So now we're talking about community, because you know that I bang on about community all the time, that community is a foundation of everything that we do. And whether it's, I do it with the wider community, you do it with the wider community, or within our community. So how has the community and support from the bootcamp helped you in your live stream journey, your TikTok live journey? Let's see what you say. I'm looking forward to hearing it.
Like when you start off hitting that live button, the first time you do it, you're going to be a bit nervous, right?
Yes.
Other people are nervous as well. Like they're joining the boot camp for a particular reason. They've made a commitment to grow and learn and develop. But as soon as you get past this kind of point of, okay, hitting this live button is easy, right?
Yeah.
Done it once, done it twice, done it 3 times. Then you start to develop and move yourself to another level. And then you ask different kinds of questions. Like I've been doing this for now like over a month, so I'm now thinking about different kinds of questions. And so when you have a group of people who you are surrounded with and they're on the same kind of journey, they have the same kind of question. Now, sometimes you've not even asked that question. You've got that question in your mind. It's like, that's a damn good question. Or you have a question and you're helping them. But not only that, that is kind of like a mastermind kind of working together when you're on that same path. But also you put us into like accountability groups where we're
Yes.
kind of supporting each other and we're kind of like motivating each other. Now, one of my archetypes is I'm a motivator. You know, I love to make sure that people are on time, on point. And I'll be in that kind of group saying, okay, what have people done? What do you need support in? How can I support you? What kind of questions you have? I will be like that. I'll be on people's case, making sure that as a person, as an individual, I am committing to other people. Here's what happens when you commit to other people, the universe is going to come and commit to you in some way or some form. Sometimes it doesn't mean that they're going to come from that same person in this context they were, but sometimes it comes in different ways.
Absolutely.
And this is why I love spirituality. Those laws of spirituality, they work in our lives whether you believe it or not. It's like gravity is there. You don't believe it? Well, jump off a building, you'll find out whether it's true or not. So that's how karma is.
What jokes,
Karma,
I like it.
giving people and giving your love, giving your support, giving everything that you possibly can in that accountability group will come back to you a 30, a 60, 100 fold.
100%, 100%. Power of community and, mirroring back what we want. It's reciprocity at the end of the day. If we want people to support us, if we want, you've heard me say this on lives, we want people to support us, invest in us, we have to be those individuals. And I think what happens for most people, not present company excluded, is that people get their feelings hurt because they think, well, I'm showing up and I'm supporting other people and no one's supporting me, so I'm just not going to do it anymore. And you have to be detached from the outcome. I think those that are way too sensitive or too soft, as I say, and are too attached to the outcome, then those are the people that drop off, because in the beginning, that's the testing of your resilience. It's the testing of your grit, because the things that we are asking for, that we're saying that we're going to be responsible for carrying, there is a responsibility that goes with that. So there has to be a demonstration that we can carry that. And so there is going to be testing and hard times. So I'm glad, Paz, that you are not taking the easy road, that you understand it's about taking the hard road, but also that you're somebody who is willing to show up and support. That is huge and that's massive. And I've seen you doing that. So thank you so much for doing that. So I want to ask you this question, Paz. What advice would you give to someone who is considering the next cohort of the ToK Like a Boss bootcamp, which starts in 3 weeks' time? What would you say to those individuals?
I got something to say to them, right? I got something to say to them, right? But I want to actually go back to something that you mentioned. It was a really interesting point where,
okay, go ahead.
When you mentioned like, okay, somebody's a bit softer and a bit sensitive, and maybe they don't have they're kind of outcome orientated in that kind of situation. I just want to give them hope, because with a coach, with a mentor, you will learn and develop. Even if you are not the type of personality that goes live, it's okay. You can still learn the skills, because those beautiful qualities you have of softness and sensitivity or spirituality and intuition, they still have a place in TikTok Live. You just need to be supported. And so, going on to this question that Janine has just asked is, what could I tell people who are making this kind of decision? Now, for different people, they're going to be on different, parts of the journey.
Yes.
You may feel like, I actually don't have enough followers. I don't have 1,000 people. How can I even go TikTok Live? Could I get something out of the bootcamp? Well, in that first week, I learned a lot about creating videos. Right? You taught us a lot about kind of how do you put yourself out there so that you can have 1,000 followers, so that you can go live. But also there is the Facebook group. So if you're a part of the Facebook, this is how we started going live. We went live in a safe environment and just get comfortable with just being yourself, being in your energy and speaking to a camera, because it kind of initially feels a bit weird, but you start to build that. Okay, you done it once, you've done it twice, you're off your way. So
Yeah.
I would definitely encourage even people who don't have, 1,000 followers, but they're still considering it. I would definitely highly recommend it. But then there could be people who have gone live and they haven't had the successful. That's where you need definitely some coaching. You need some tips. You need some mindset shifts. You need that kind of support so that you can be in the same position that I am today after a month, who's going consistently live. Because I'm sure that's what people are thinking of. They're thinking about, okay, what how do I go live? How do I press this button? And what do I and then there's the question of what do I say? Well,
Yeah.
Janine's going to coach you and develop you little by little, step by step, and you'll know what you need to do to go live. And so I would really encourage those people, if that's what you want to do, right? Because in your heart whether you want to do it or not. And if you're kind of like, right, I'm not sure whether live is going to be the thing for me or not, okay, then I don't know whether Janine is going to be the right person. But definitely for those people, I was thinking, I want to go TikTok live. I want that to be a part of my strategy, just like I wanted that to be a part of my social media strategy. I was very clear on that intention. And so that is why I joined. That was the reason. And so I definitely encourage people, if you're thinking about it, if you're on the fence, that this is wants to be a part of your strategy, jump in. Don't You've got to have a bit of faith. You've got to
Yeah.
take a little bit of faith and say, you know what, I'm going to take a faith on this program. I'm going to take a faith on Janine. I also want to say one other thing.
Oh,
That program, it is literally impossible to get through. It is that intense. There's so much information,
can't
right?
get through it.
Right? You are not going to be disappointed. Like you said, I wasn't able to join the live group coaching, but I never felt like I missed out. I was able to ask the questions. I was able to get so much information from the videos. There's so much exercise, it will feel overwhelming. So don't feel that you're not going to get enough. You're going to get a bit too much. And this is where you have to manage your expectation of what do you focus on, where you are on your journey, where do you want to take action on. And now that I've got access to it, I can always come back to different parts
That's
of
the
the
point.
boot camp, look at the videos again, do those
Yeah.
exercises again, etc., etc.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. So detailed. I appreciate it. And you're absolutely right. It is, I think a lot of people, I think Yasloy said this, that she
Yeah,
wasn't expecting it to be there to be so much information.
yeah,
And what it is that it's about you having a continuous library to go back to, which
yeah,
is why I said, we release it little by little. And it's not a race to feel like I've got to do all of the things, even though Paz, you were every week. Yep, module 1 done. Yep, I've gone through module 2. But it was not about having to do it all in the 4 weeks or learn it all in the 4 weeks. I think my mission is always about getting you moving, having the understanding, and starting to get, and you take it forward, because not everybody moves from Talk Like a Boss into Top Mastery. So it's about making sure that my little brood that you continue to have that support. And I'm the kind of coach, which I think by now, Paz, is that I never take my hands fully off. You always know where I am, and I always am behind you, supporting you and showing love, because I believe in the people that come through my process, and I want to make sure that they're taken care of. So thank you so much for just being an absolute amazing student. Was you going to say something? I felt like you was going to say something there.
Yeah, I was going to say, for people who are just, even they are 20% making that decision, you're going to learn something. You're going to grow. You'll be able, even if you weren't doing TikTok live, you might be doing, I don't know, Instagram live or Facebook live. You're going to learn some of the things that you'll be able to apply in a social media setting. And I think that was what's really valuable for me personally.
Thank you so much, Paz. It's been lovely talking to you. As I said, this is our first official time talking, and you have got wit, humor, jokes. I feel your passion. I actually feel your energy, and I really do think that you're going to go really far with it. And you just need to just lean into every aspect of it. Enjoy the journey. Just keep learning, implement what you have learned so far. And you know where I am. I'm never going to be far away. So Paz, any final thoughts that you want to share? Now, this could be anything. It doesn't have to be about Talk Like a Boss Bootcamp. For those who are watching, who may be struggling with some sort of issue, something holding them back. It doesn't necessarily have to be trauma. It could be there's something that's keeping people in a little bit of a chokehold. Anything that you want to impart, this is your moment to share your final thoughts, Paz. Thank you so much, and over to you.
Thank you. I was just on TikTok about, well, obviously over a half an hour ago, and I was listening to a lady who was talking about her fear of public speaking. And I just wanted to share, and I really resonated with that because I had a lot of fear of public speaking. And I'm talking about public speaking, not on camera, but being in front of people and being able to feel comfortable with it. And there is a journey that you go through. And that is such a beautiful investment that I made in my life. This was about 10 years ago that I started to work on myself in public speaking. Those skills have become so helpful to me today as I do TikTok Live. And as you do TikTok Live, as I do this TikTok Live, it's going to help me with Facebook Live, YouTube Live, any kind of live platform. The skills you're going to learn, I'm going to be able to take it forward. So don't think of it as here's a 4-week course. Definitely think of it as an investment for future gains, that things that you still may not even be aware of. Thank you so much.
I love that, Paz. Thank you so much. It's been such a privilege and an honor to talk with you. That 30 minutes went really quickly, Paz. Thank you so much. So keep smiling, keep being amazing. So Paz, I'm going to just drop you back into the studio. Don't leave as I wrap things up. But thank you so much for your time today. It's really been appreciated.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So guys, that was Paz, our resident spiritual teacher. And what an amazing session that was. Not just because Paz was very complimentary about the Talk Like a Boss Bootcamp, but just his energy. And I want to encourage you, we're going to link all of his socials at the end of this session. So if you're watching on YouTube, everything will be linked in the description. If you're watching on the other social media platforms, do check out the information in the descriptions and also in the comments. Please make sure that you go and you check out Paz's content. If you're looking for podcast guests, speakers for panels, then I want to encourage you to connect with Paz because he's got a lot of good things to share. And obviously Paz was part of the Talk Like a Boss Bootcamp. He was with us on cohort 2. And if you would like to find out more about joining the Talk Like a Boss Bootcamp, the information will be linked below, but here is the information on the screen. If you want to take a screenshot as well, you're welcome to do so. And that's it for ToK Talks this week or today. Hopefully I'll be back with 2 other graduates, students, extraordinaires from cohort 2 of the Talk Like a Boss Bootcamp. In fact, we've got alumni member Yasmin Larkin, Danae Larkin. They're both named Yasmin. So we've got Yasmin 1. Let's just say Yasmin number 1. Yasmin Danae Larkin, who was in cohort 1. She came back as an alumni. And then we had Yasmin Loyal. We have Yasmin Loy, who actually has graduated and moved up to ToK Mastery. So those ladies will be coming to have a chat with you. But until then, thank you so much for your time today. Have a great rest of your evening, and we will see you back here